when WWE booked Torrie Wilson to face Dupree in an intergender match. During Cena and Dupree's brawl, it was obvious that the two men were going all in on each other. And he was even caught in 4K, spiking a wrestler right on the head.
So he's going to go out there, he's going to be a mark, he's going to actually try to hurt people. What up though, viewer mares? It's your boy, Death Mare. Today, viewer mares, we're going to be checking out 10 WWE wrestlers who deliberately injured or hurt their opponents. Who could these 10 wrestlers be? Is it Taz? It's Taz! I don't know. So, let's wrestle it. Ring the bell. Ding! Ding!
WWE wrestlers who tried to intentionally hurt their own opponent. Number 10, Drew Gulak. Over the past number of years, several harrowing and disturbing stories have surfaced related to former WWE star Drew Gulak. In relation to his reputation as a wrestler, he was known for targeting injuries, and he was even caught in 4K, spiking a wrestler right on the head. This occurred on NXT Level Up in 2023, and Gulak spiked Dante Chen with so much force and so much anger that everyone outside of Gulak looked incredibly concerned for Chen's welfare. Quite rightly, Gulak was verbally reprimanded by head of NXT Shawn Michaels, and fans were calling on WWE to fire Gulak immediately after the spot.
Well, okay, see, this is what happens when you don't have a character. It's pro wrestling. I'm so tired of all these pro wrestlers not having any actual entertaining value to their presentation. One of those things lacking would be a character. What is his character? Doesn't have any. So he's going to go out there. He's going to be a mark. He's going to actually try to hurt people. And that's just it. Go on over to AEW and do that, bro. I work. You know, a lot of people work, want to come home and be entertained. We don't want to watch that. Good grief.
A pro wrestler who acts in this manner should be nowhere near a wrestling ring, and it's rather unsettling to know that Gulak is still receiving bookings outside of WWE. Number 9, Hardcore Holly. Hardcore Holly was often labeled as a bully, and he was
how do you like me now?
Often keen to pick on younger and upcoming talent. In 2004, it was widely reported that Holly had a personal issue with Rene Dupree, and the issue started after Holly allowed Dupree to borrow his rental vehicle. The vehicle was then issued with a parking ticket, and Dupree ultimately failed to pay the fine. Instead of communicating with Dupree, Holly decided to retaliate by legitimately attacking Dupree during a live event tag team match. Holly wasn't just trying to intentionally hurt Dupree, he was trying to brutalize him as Dupree received.
Okay, look. Should Holly have done all that? No. Considering what Dupree did and his lack of immaturity and disrespect at the time, that's kind of what you call, hey, come in here, close the door when you have a bro session. But going to the measures that Holly did, he should have not gone that far. End of story.
A black eye and numerous bruises and lacerations. Quite rightly, WWE fined Holly a total of $10,000 for the incident, and it's likely that if this type of incident happened in today's WWE, then a suspension or firing would have followed. Number 8, Ron Simmons.
Damn!
Backstage in WWE during the late 90s, Ahmed Johnson wasn't exactly Mr. Popular. One of the names he had upset in a major way was Ron Simmons. In a match, Johnson had kicked Simmons with so much force that he had legitimately damaged Simmons' liver. This was during a time in which there were endless complaints about Johnson's in-ring work. Wrestlers from top to bottom believed that Johnson sucked in the ring. They believed that he was reckless and he was going to seriously injure someone, which of course he ended up doing. Once Simmons returned to in-ring action, he decided to take revenge on Johnson in a scheduled match. During the match, Simmons would shoot on Johnson, breaking 3 of his ribs in the process. Whilst WWE would never encourage this type of behavior, they should have known to pull Johnson from TV when the complaints were made. If a wrestler is unsafe and is actively hurting other talent, then it's clear that they need more development as a matter of urgency. Number 7.
If a man really hated ads, here's what he would do. Day 1. He would install.
So here's the thing, though. The entire locker room and upper management in WWF at the time knew that. Who's to say Ron Simmons was thinking, hey, I'm not going to take any legal action, but when I come back, you need to make the very first thing I do be with Ahmed Johnson. As a fan, I loved Ahmed Johnson. I've never been a wrestler, though, so I don't know the inner workings of those kind of relationships. But as a fan, I loved Ahmed, to be honest. It's just a shame that he caused his own downfall. Because, bro, he was so entertaining. He was in WWF championship matches. Like, he was on the uprise. Let's keep going.
EPA. But speaking of Ron Simmons, a few years after the incident with Ahmed Johnson, he had a similar incident with 2 new WWE stars, the Public Enemy. The APA were set to wrestle the Public Enemy on Sunday Night Heat, and just moments before they went through the curtain, the Public Enemy suddenly decided they had an issue with the finish. Bradshaw discussed the exact moment on his podcast, and this is what the former WWE champion had to say. Their music is playing, literally playing. We went over the match, went over everything, and everything was agreed. And it's not our finish. So it's not like me and Ron created the finish, it was given to us by The Office. Same as it was given to them by The Office. They turn to me and say, hey, we're not going to do that spot on the table. Well, that's the finish. They said, yeah, we don't want to do that spot. I said, okay. They didn't offer an alternative, so Ron turns to me and goes, what was that? I said, they don't want to go through the table, and he said, well, we'll take the table to them. The APA decided to take it to them in the match in a rather physical manner. This would end up being one of the most infamous matches of the respective era. Those chair shots were brutal. Number 6, John Cena and Rene.
Okay, here's the thing. You signed a contract, okay? And the very first thing you're told to do, you choose not to do it. I don't know of any job or career where that's allowed, to be honest. If anything, that was their chance to show everyone, hey, we're new here and we can be team players, right? And then build your working relationship that way. And also, you're putting 2 other people, those 2 people being Ron and John, in the position to where they can now get potentially reprimanded or even terminated because you don't want to do something. That's bullcrap, bro. I ain't gonna lie. And also, look, I know the pain is real and everything, but it'll be a lot worse if you put those people in a position to do that to you. So just be cool, man. Dang.
Dupree. Rene Dupree has made endless comments about John Cena over the past 2 decades, and on his podcast, he claims that in a segment on SmackDown during their feud, the 2 proceeded to have a shoot fight and intentionally hurt each other. The incident occurred in April of 2004 when WWE booked Tori Wilson to face Dupree in an intergender match. The match resulted in a no contest after Cena made the heroic save. During Cena and Dupree's brawl, it was obvious that the 2 men were going all in on each other, and this is what Dupree had to say about the incident on his podcast. I remember we were told by Fit Finlay and the other agents that the physicality between me and John Cena afterward, when he made the save, had to look real. And let me tell you, it was as real as it can be. I busted his eyebrow open, he was bleeding, and he busted my lip, and I think I had a bruise somewhere on my face. Those were live rounds. Now, it's unclear if WWE punished both men, as whilst they wanted the segment to look real, it's highly unlikely that they wanted both men to legitimately fight each other in the ring.
Hey, you wanna know what, though? You wanna know what? Look. Hold on, check this out, okay? Ready? Let me move this out of the way. Hey, look. Shout out to you, Rene Dupree. There you go. That's what you call the French tickler. You know, nowadays this should be called the French Rizzler. Nah, I'm just kidding. No, that's Mick.
Number 5. Jake Roberts. It was once a common place for wrestlers to give out receipts when they were hurt by another opponent. This was the case with Jake Roberts and Sid, as Sid was extremely stiff with Roberts during the match, so Roberts eventually had enough and decided to legitimately snap his bicep. Roberts revealed his story during an episode of his podcast, saying, "I had an incident where a guy was giving me a clothesline every night and it was freaking ripping my head off, and I was recovering from having neck surgery. And in wrestling, you can make it look like you tore the guy's head off, or you can tear the guy's head off. So the next time we wrestled, he clotheslined me and I did a little maneuver and snapped his bicep in half with intent. And when he went down, he was grabbing his arm, the bicep rolled up on his shoulder, it looked pretty awesome, and he's screaming to ring the bell, and I jumped on top of him and grabbed his bicep and just started squeezing." Roberts went on to say that he regretted the incident and stated that he needed to issue an apology to Sid.
Yeah, straight up. Look, especially if you didn't go up to him and address it, you know what I mean? In a professional kind of manner. But also, it's freaking Sid. So you better apologize and do what you can, bro. Just gonna say that right now. Umaga!
Or Umaga. The planned top storyline for SummerSlam in 2007 was going to see the stars of Jackass take on Umaga. The storyline began the year prior when Umaga destroyed two members of the group on Raw. During the beatdown, Steve-O failed to sell for Umaga and even laughed during the supposed beatdown. This made the credible Umaga absolutely furious. Umaga decided to legitimately elbow Steve-O and deliver stiff shots in order for him to stay down. Although the SummerSlam match in 2007 was eventually cancelled, the Jackass stars, particularly Steve-O, will never forget their run-in with the Samoan Bulldozer. Number 3. The Big Show. It's rare to hear stories of the Big Show legitimately shooting on other wrestlers, yet in 2006, he decided to use his size and strength to punish a member of the Spirit Squad. The issue was between Show and Spirit Squad member Johnny, and it was said to start after Johnny played a prank on Show during a live event match when Johnny asked Show to pick up a sandwich. Johnny revealed that the next time he encountered Show in the ring, Show put his health and safety in great jeopardy. Johnny felt completely powerless as he knew WWE management wouldn't do a thing about it. Johnny clearly believed that it was a harmless prank, but the Big Show didn't think of it that way, and he decided the best way to handle things was physicality in the squared circle. Number 2. The Headbangers. In 1998, the Insane Clown Posse's request for a raise went down so poorly that the Headbangers were asked to make an example out of the two during an episode of Raw. This story was revealed by a Headbanger Marsh while speaking to WSI's James Romero. "We had an agent come to us and say, you guys go out and beat the shit out of them. Beat the shit out of them because they're not coming back tomorrow. And if you don't beat the shit out of them, then the guys won't be in the building tomorrow either." So we went, okay, that's what we did. The segment features the Headbangers basically shooting on the duo, and it's extremely hard to watch. There are numerous stiff moves being delivered, and the chair shots are definitely coming from a place of hatred. And number 1. Andre the Giant. The Ultimate Warrior didn't have the best reputation both inside and outside the ring, and he was often known for being overly stiff in matches. When Warrior would wrestle Andre the Giant in the late 80s, the two would perform in a spot where Andre got caught in the ropes. According to the legendary Bobby the Brain Heenan, Warrior then began to take liberties during these spots, and he's notably stiff during the scripted move, no doubt because Andre couldn't defend himself. Eventually, Andre had had enough, and during a spot where Andre was trapped into the ropes, Andre freed himself at the last moment and made Warrior run right into his fist. This must have been extremely painful for the Warrior, and it's a miracle that he wasn't knocked out in the middle of the ring. But there you have it, folks. WWE wrestlers who tried to intentionally hurt their opponent in the ring. Be sure to leave your comments down below. No.
There you have it, viewer mares. We didn't know who was going to be on this list. Rene Dupree was on it twice. I would have never guessed that. Shout out to Rene Dupree and Wrestlelamia. And there it is, viewer mares. We wrestled it. Win, lose, or draw. The match is over. Man, ring the bell. Ding! Ding!